people buy emotionally and justify logically. Now that sounds a little dodgy. It's okay for people to buy emotionally. What we don't want is them to be emotionalistic. And so when they're emotionalistic, now it becomes, to me, a transactional sale. You can get somebody to be emotionalistic and they make a reflex purchase or an impulse purchase. But those are always transactional purchases. Those are often filled with regret, buyer's remorse, and certainly if people don't enjoy the process or they feel like they were taken advantage of emotionally, they'll never endorse you, they'll never use you again, they'll never refer you. So we don't want that. And so what we do need to know is that people do buy emotionally, and the bigger the purchase, the more emotion involved. And so what we want to do is find out what people's emotional needs and their tangible needs are. It does not mean we ever manipulate people's emotions. We just need to know that that's where it's at. And sometimes what we have to understand is that people are looking for more Oprah and less Dr. Spock. And many times people are talking to someone in an emotionally charged conversation and they're just given facts and stats. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They can't hear you. So it's very, very important. One of the questions I figured out, and I was a kid, I was 19 when I got into real estate. But I figured out very early on, I would ask people open-ended questions. And I'd say, well, let me ask you, what's your biggest fear or concern about the upcoming transaction? The fear was the emotion, the concern was the logic, and it gave people a chance to communicate. What I was really listening for is what was their biggest need, and also what was their biggest fear, obviously. But then, okay, sometimes they'd say, well, we were in a real estate transaction before and we didn't feel heard, or we felt pushed, or whatever. And they kind of give you the keys on how to help them. So I'm going to walk you through here the emotions that people feel and the logic that's needed to support it, right? So they buy emotionally, but then they need to justify logically. That logical justification needs to be there. I'm going to walk you through this and how to do this. So let's say someone's emotion is fear. After you've acknowledged the fear, understand the fear, repeat back to the person what the fear is, then they need facts and perspective. So that's kind of what the logic would be needed. The fear of missing out, okay? So that is what drives a lot of purchases. And so, I'm missing out. The stocks are going up. The real estate's going up. I'm going to miss out. And so what the logic that's needed for a person like that is a path to move forward, or a plan. That there's a plan in place. There's a system in place. There's a routine in place. What's normal? And that will take that particular fear away. Sometimes ego is the deal. Ego drives a lot of sales. Okay, no offense, but I live in an area where there's an awful lot of nice cars and Bentleys and Lambos and whatever else driving around. And you know what? God bless them. People can spend money on what they like. I have a nice car. But ego can be a big driver for sales. Now, you don't want somebody to just give in to their ego, but someone who's expressing ego, what they need is a way to win. They want to win. And so sometimes ego is a thing. Sometimes in a negotiation, I have a client with a big ego, and I'll ask for something small in a negotiation that satiates that ego. Another dynamic that comes up is aspiration. The emotion is aspiration. And for someone like that, the logic needed is to help establish goals with that ambition, okay? We do this all the time. We do this all the time in our coaching program. People have ambition, and they need to know, okay, we're going to help you establish goals, and then we got you. Like, we got a coaching program and a structure to help you reach your goals. So the emotion is, I've got this burning ambition. All right, now we need to root it with a set of goals that become a plan. And then another emotion is hope. And for hope, it's painting the ultimate outcome, okay? Like a Buffini company, we sell the good life, right? You're going to have a good business and a good life. This podcast is called It's a Good Life. Our catchphrase for 27 years was work by referral, live the good life. So people when hope is what they need, then you come along and say, okay, we can support that hope, but it can be a confident hope because it's rooted in something. It's an ultimate outcome. So here's why this is such a big deal. If you just meet the transactional needs of a customer, you'll get paid, but you won't make an advocate. When you meet the emotional and transactional needs of the customer, that's how you create advocates. That's how you create advocates. You deal with their fears, their concerns, their apprehensions, or their ambitions where they have a great experience. That's how you make an advocate. So that's a big deal. Thanks for watching. If you want more tips on how to think, feel, and do better, check out these videos too. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave us a like if you enjoyed the content.